Well, hello, welcome in to Buffalo Wild Wings right here in Tiffin, Ohio for the Gary Goff Show, your Thursday night look at Tiffin University football. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons, alongside victorious head coach Gary Goff after a big win last weekend. Coach, how are we doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing excellent. First of all, I got to say thank you to you, your coaching staff, your kids, your players, everybody. What a fun time. Matt and I both said after that game, that might have been the most fun we had broadcasting the game. We broadcast some awesome wins here to you, but that one there I think was maybe as complete a game as we've seen you guys play, and it just was a ton of fun. So thank you from us.
No, it was a great game. It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it as coaching staff and players afterwards. You know, we were battling throughout the entire game.
Right.
It was a blast, and it was a lot of fun to see the young man go out there and play extremely hard for 4 quarters, and that's what we did.
Well, it was a big-time football game, a big-time atmosphere. As one of the best teams in the conference, let alone the country, coming into town to take on the Dragons. Ashland coming in sporting one poll had them at number 5 in the country. Another one had them at number 4. So a top 5 team, and that's the first time the Dragons have been able to handle a team of that much stature. And saw all the emotion on the field after the game, everybody running up and gathering around you. And I asked you before we got started, I said, what was the locker room like? And you said, boy, that was just a ton of fun.
It was, and it makes this hard work that everybody puts into this well worth it when you see the young men have that experience together. That'll be something they'll remember for the rest of their lives. But, to beat a team like that, that's nationally ranked, and, they've only lost 2 games the last 2 years, and both those games were in the playoffs.
Right, absolutely.
So a very historical win for our program, but as soon as this show's over, we can't talk about it anymore. We're on to next week right now.
Well, how long, I bet you got to, did you at least let yourself enjoy it Saturday night and probably started, I'm sure you were thinking about Walsh probably on the way home from the stadium, if not before, but hopefully at least gave yourself a little bit of a time to enjoy that. But I know what it is. It's not who you played, it's who you play next. And that's always the biggest game, the next one on the schedule.
No, we all enjoyed it Saturday night, coaches, players, but come Sunday morning, it was right back to work. So, the wins are short-lived, and
right.
So we've been at it all week. We had a great week of practice. I know we got to cover the game and talk about it, and it was a great victory for us all. We had a lot of great players that had big moments in the game, but we're excited to line up and play again this weekend. That's what it's all about.
Well, the Dragons took care of Ashland, just said 35-32, and let's look back at some of the numbers from the game. Antonio Pipkin, your quarterback, goes 16 of 24 for 308, 3 touchdowns in the contest as well, and one of them, which is a long pass of 86 yards, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, to the gentleman who's going to be on the program tonight, and also was our conference offensive player of the week in Charles Holland. I'll tell you what, the first 2 drives of the game, Coach, really set the tone. Your defense standing up big when they had to on the opening drive, and then your kids go 99 yards. Talk about a character-building drive early in a football game.
Oh, absolutely. I think defense, it kind of set the tone for the game right there.
Yeah.
And, after we stopped them right there, on that first drive, 4th and 1 on the goal line, I think everybody, kind of looked up and said, hey, we're fine. We can do this.
Uh-huh.
And, that we carried the momentum from that moment on and never looked back.
As I said, Charles goes 11 catches, 262, a couple touchdowns, that long catch of 86 yards. But, he had those huge numbers, some of the biggest numbers ever for a Tiffin University wide receiver in a game. I think it's second only yardage-wise to a Nate Washington game that was had here on campus. But I thought on the ground you guys did running back by committee again this week. But I thought you guys did a really good job on the ground, which enabled you guys to open up those passing lanes too.
Yeah, we had a balanced attack, and we spread the wealth around quite a bit. The running backs were very effective on some key situations right there. But, that's what's a lot of fun to coach this offense right now, especially with the talented players we have, because, you can't just, defend one receiver or load the box from the backs. We got a lot of different weapons, and we're very fortunate right now because we can spread it around quite a bit.
Well, Ashland's got a lot of weapons too, and I thought your defense played, you give up 32 points, but some of that coming in desperation time for Ashland, which credit those guys. You had them down 10 in the 4th quarter, and also they put a touchdown on the board, and you start thinking, uh-oh, here they come. Credit them for that never say die attitude and playing hard. But very talented running back over there in Vance Settlemeyer. You guys held him to 52 yards on 17 carries. I thought your defense played a very, very nice football game.
That's probably the biggest key to the game right there, and the reason why we won. I know their coach had talked many times about how they were going into the game and planning to run the ball, quite effectively, and you can't blame them. From the previous week, Wayne State had a lot of success doing that. But the adjustments we made on that side of the ball and holding them to, well under 200 yards rushing is a big win for us, and really is probably the deciding factor on why we were able to come away with a win.
Sheehan is all that he was cracked up to be, isn't he? That big old tight end, number 44, goes out and gets 10 for 165. He's got to be about as big of a nightmare matchup-wise for about any guy any team in the conference. But you know what? He got his, but he didn't kill you. Nobody else killed you.
Well, that young man will probably be a third or fourth round draft pick next year as a junior. There's not that many tight ends of his caliber in the country. But, we told Jacob Murders, our linebacker, after the game, we're like, hey, son, you had 14 tackles a day.
Yeah.
Unbelievable job. And the good news is you'll probably never see a tight end like that again.
No, probably not. And I think he's into the top 10 in tackles now in the conference. As a matter of fact, Jacob Murdis is a young freshman linebacker doing a great job for the Dragons. I'll tell you what as well, in your special teams, I saw Coach Eisen look this way, and so we got to mention special teams here a little bit. Your coverage on the punts was dynamite. Was that DeLon Wynn who was out there on the outside? He couldn't be blocked on the outside. It was great.
Yeah, DeLon Wynn, he's fast as they come.
Yes, he is.
And he ran down there 3 times, made great open field tackles, and then the other punt, they tackled him. He said the young man got up and said, hey, my coach told me just to tackle you. We don't care if we get the penalty called. So he was very effective and made some big plays. And that's one of our goals every week is to play inspiring special teams, and we did that Saturday.
Well, we have 5 scoring plays and a couple defensive highlights we'd like to share with everybody now. So this is our first time trying to do this here. We grab the highlights. We'd like to play them for everybody here out at Buffalo Wild Wings. All right, Buffalo Wild Wings here in Tiffin every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. So let's take a look first at the goal line stand on the opening drive of the game. 4th down play, opening drive of the game. Big plays already, a couple of minutes in.
Watch Sean Scott's matched up on the tight end, or Tarnowski can maybe keep it himself.
Tarnowski has it. He's looking to throw. Fires towards the corner. Deflected, knocked away by the Dragon defense. Johnny on the spot there for the Dragons. Number 11, Carrington Conti, the sophomore. And he breaks it up, and the Dragon defense gives up the big play, but comes up big when they had to.
Yeah, tried to.
Great play there by Carrington Conti on a 4th down play. Were you surprised they went for it instead of trying to get to 3, or you think they're figuring if we don't get it, they aren't going 99 yards?
I guess we kind of weren't. I know it's early in the game, but just who they are and what they've been doing everybody all season long. We kind of weren't. But Carrington made a great play right there. He's got a knack for the football.
Yeah,
he has for the last 2 years. So just got a hand in there and knocked it away. So unbelievable stand right there on defense.
Well, the Dragons get the ball back after that unbelievable stand the coach talked about, and Antonio Pipkin wants to go big time here to his wide receiver, Mr. Mega Dragon. Fake handoff. Pipkin wants to throw. He wants to stretch the field. Holland's out in front of the man.
Yes, sir.
Right there. Charles has it at the 40. Sprinting to the goal line. Ain't nobody catching Mega Dragon. Touchdown, Tiffin.
Nice
86 yards on the completion. Dragons go 99 yards in 3 plays.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, the Eagles are playing from behind.
Yeah, no kidding. That was a beautiful ball. We kept it up top. Charles never broke stride.
Wow.
Put it right in the breadbasket. That was it, boy.
Good
You see the speed Charles showed off there?
Mega Dragon.
They were even at the 50.
Big play there for the Dragons, and especially, not only to get the early score to get up on a team like Ashland, but a play like that where you could hear in the stadium the crowd was whipped into a frenzy after that play.
Oh, it was phenomenal. We worked that quite a bit, especially coming off down there. It's a good way for us to flip the field and flip the momentum early. And, Pipkin couldn't have thrown a better pass, and Charles was wide open, did a great job catching it, running away from the defense.
And that's a pretty stiff wind Antonio was throwing into there during the game. Wind was blowing basically south to north at the start of the game there. And like you said, he put that enough air underneath it to let Charles run underneath and not have to miss his stride to get a points on the board for the Dragons. Extra point, hits it upright, then hits the crossbar. Almost went in, but didn't go in, but that's okay. The Dragons got those points back in more with a touchdown run. That would be Jaquan Hardy. He has it up the middle.
Get in there. Get
Working
in there.
hard.
Come on. Give it
Being
to me.
pushed by Jerry Brown. He's in.
Yes,
there
sir.
it is. Touchdown, Dragons.
That's muscle
Dragons
right there.
at the 2:50 mark of the opening quarter have doubled it up now 12-0. Dragons get back up on the scoreboard. Once again, the extra point is good, and the Dragons have a 14-point lead. Ashland comes back, 14-10 the score, and the Dragons driving again right outside the red zone, and really nice design on this play for a touchdown pass again to Charles Harlan.
Yeah, we throw a lot of screens, and, the offensive staff noticed earlier in the week that they were flooding the box trying to cover those screens. So we kind of set them up right here with a little bit of play action. We're able to find Charles yet again right inside the hash.
We'll ask you about Matt's description of the play here, and we'll see if he was right at the end of this play. Here's a touchdown pass again from Antonio Pipkin to Charles Harlan.
Running back came in. They shoot him away. He went back to the sideline.
Yeah, right the hot hand. 4 receivers set. Antonio steps back, fires in the middle. Holland, touchdown Dragons all by himself. Nobody got him on the slant. Pipkin hit him in stride. He turned his shoulders and walked across the goal line.
You see what that was? They rolled Pipkin to this near side, and it looked like they were setting up a screen pass to Charles. He ran a 2 steps and stopped, and then he hit the slant real hard. And the DB was paying attention to what the offensive line was doing. They were flowing to the near side.
That was a very well-designed play there by the
Perfect play setup. That was awesome.
Boy, Holland, have yourself a day, young man. Charles Holland is racking up the yards, couple touchdowns already.
He was over 100 before that. He's got 135, 5 catches, 135 right now, averaging 27 a pop.
Woo, doggy.
2 touchdowns.
So was his description correct there of the play, the way it was designed, with Charles showing the wide receiver screen and then reading the defense and finding that slant?
Yeah, it was. We got a double screen, one to the right, one to the left. So, offensive line did a great job right there not getting downfield. We worked that hard all week. Sometimes they're used to running downfield on the screen game. So, but again, we found the target and got the points on the board.
Dragons continuing to rack up the points against Ashland as they're still playing in the first 10 Dragons, or first and goal Dragons at the 10-yard line.
He's trying to go after Nate Washington's yards record in a game.
Pipkin dropped the snap, goes back and gets it, and he'll fire it.
Oh, he caught a touchdown! He threw a touchdown!
Trent Stam, is it good?
Oh, my!
Trent Stam with a touchdown.
Cow.
Pipkin laying on the 30-yard line on his back. Didn't even see it happen.
And he lost his shoe. His shoe cleats at the 21-yard line.
No shoes, no problem. Antonio Pipkin to Trent Stam. Wow.
Holy cow.
Another touchdown pass there. Is that one how you drove it up?
Well, we have a trick play every week, and that one we worked all week long as well. No.
So, Antonio, now loosen up your shoe.
It was a great play. I don't know if you ever see a play like that again. It was pretty crazy.
It was a crazy play, and I think the defensive back got caught just watching what was going on back there in the backfield with Antonio, and then Trent Stam able to sneak behind him and get another Dragon touchdown. Dragons continue the effort against Ashland as we work our way towards the end of the game, but the Dragons still lead. Brown, handoff up the middle.
Oh,
Pipkin still has it. A race to the pylon. Did he get in?
Come on, give it to me. Yes, sir.
Did they get touchdown, Dragons?
How about
With
that?
1:01 left to play, and if they get the extra point, it'll be a 10-point advantage. You can put this one in the books under TU victory. I kind of spoke a little early there because there's still a lot of football to be played there, saying put it in the books under TU victory. But another great play, just Antonio using his athleticism there to make sure to get to the end zone.
That was a big play because it was 3rd and goal right there. We didn't have an opportunity to get a first down, which we were really trying to run down the clock right there at the end of the game. But, he scored, and, great run right there. It put us up by 10. The ensuing kickoff, unfortunately, we got a face mask.
Right.
We still haven't really seen that, but it put Ashland in really good field position, and they got on the board right there towards the end. But very proud of how the guys played for 4 quarters. They battled for 4 quarters, never backed down, and if we're able to do that every Saturday, we got a chance to win a lot of football games.
Absolutely. And last week's guest, Morgan Lloyd, decided to make his name known big in the 4th quarter with an interception. I have to ask you on this play afterwards if maybe the quarterback lost sight of Morgan. In the contest, they got to get to midfield for a first down. Tarnowski's going to fake the handoff and roll out. Now he's going to fire it back.
Oh,
and
picked off! It's
Morgan Lloyd with the interception for the Dragons.
Yes,
a senior
sir.
academic All-American coming through for the Dragons. There's that turnover we needed.
Yes, sir.
So, do you think that he lost sight of Morgan when Morgan slipped and fell there?
I don't think so. I think Coach Eisen coached him up on that all week, and
Told him right place to be at the right time.
Right place, right time.
Well, another big play there for the Dragons. I think that's all of our highlights we have from our calls from the game, but that worked out pretty good considering we never tried that before. But yeah, as I said, it was just a lot of fun to be in the booth for that game. A great atmosphere, everybody out there having a lot of fun, and it's pretty crazy when your team puts it all together, how it affects everything. The crowd going crazy, energy, and that'd be some of the best energy in the stadium if you've experienced.
Well, absolutely. We've had a lot of guys stand up, and backups that weren't. They were backups just 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now they're starting. So
right.
We've had a lot of young players that are playing some really good football right now, and that mixed in with some of the veterans that are leading those guys and kind of showing the ropes and how to act and how to respond. So, we're looking forward to taking this momentum and run with it. But, you're only as good as your last game,
right.
and we got to make sure we take care of business this Saturday.
I thought the play calling on Saturday was fantastic as well, too.
Of course. We
won,
right?
Right.
You never second guess play calling on a win.
No, that's true. That's true. But it just seemed like the right plays were called at the right times consistently throughout the game, and it all added up to a big Dragon victory. But as Coach said, that was last week. This week is the Walsh Cavaliers, and Walsh going through some transitional phases up there, not only with their stadium but with their program. And their team is struggling a little bit this year, but When I look at their roster, there's a lot of familiar faces on that roster. Kids that we've seen do some good things in the past.
Well, don't let their record fool you. Walsh they're a very good football team. They've got a lot of talent, and they've played, some of the best teams in our conference so far. So it's not like they've, gone against some teams at the bottom of the conference and haven't pulled out some victories. So, we got our work cut out for us this weekend. We understand that they're going to be extremely excited to play us, and they're going to accept the challenge right there. And I'm sure they had a great week of practice. So, we got to go in there with the attitude that we're going to be in attack mode for 60 minutes and play extremely hard. And like I always say, it's more about Tiffin University than it is our opponent. Whether we're playing the fourth-ranked team in the country or playing somebody that's not off to a fast start. So
yeah, it's always about what the Dragons do, because if you go out and do your thing and take care of your business, everything should fall in line. So let's talk to a couple of our guests tonight. Let's bring up a coach and let's bring up a player. We're going to bring up Joe Horn, a coach who's new to your staff. Coach, talk a little bit about Joe and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, we're actually able to kind of hire Coach Horn away from Ashland. He was a All-American receiver there and has coached there for several years. And Tristan Griffin, a receivers coach and DFO, left, took another position a year ago. And we got to know Joe over the years just from recruiting and him being around, and it's just a perfect fit for us.
Well, it's Joe Horn working with your wide receivers, one of the most talented groups of student athletes you have on the campus. So, Coach Horn, thanks for joining us here today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about yourself. Coach told us that you came from Ashland. Talk about what it was, the process that brought you to the Tiffin University campus and the coaching staff.
Well, actually, a couple of years ago, I was playing some semi-pro football, and actually got to meet the quarterbacks coach, Coach Neugebauer.
Okay.
And met him, playing with him. He was my quarterback, and so kind of friendship grew from there, and then got introduced to the staff here. And once we got to this past spring, the opening happened. It just seemed like the right time, perfect fit, and been loving every minute of it ever since.
I was going to ask you how much fun you're having here being on the Tiffin University campus and getting to work with young men like that. Gentleman to your right, Charles Holland, thank you so much for joining us. Junior wide out here on the Tiffin University Dragons. Had a huge game last Saturday, but how you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing good. Nice. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk a little bit about yourself, Charles. You're a junior this year, right? And
Yes,
what's your major?
Communications.
And what are
Going to television and broadcasting.
What's your job, Mr. Kibler? Yeah, watch out. He's looking at you, too. Well, let's talk about last Saturday. What a game. I mean, if the quarterback's not getting it to you, you can't have those numbers. If the line's not keeping the quarterback on his feet, you can't have those numbers. So it was a great team victory. You just happen to have the big numbers out there for everybody, but it had to be a great team victory. You had to feel good for your special teams players, your defense, as well as your offensive teammates.
We just knew we had to attack on every end of the ball, special teams, defense, offense. We just had to fly around, be excited like we was, and get the victory, basically. Coach, it was a great victory.
That was a great victory, absolutely right. And Coach Horn, you see the hard work that these young men put in practice every single day, and you know the talent this young man has. A breakout game like that, I'm sure you've been waiting to see it all year long, and it just happened to happen against a really good football team on Saturday.
After the game, I asked Charles, I said, hey, what did you do different this week? And he goes, nothing. And that's what we did, is we executed. We finally got together and put together a full, complete game, which we hadn't done as a receiving core this year. So that really, that's the time we need it, and I'm really looking forward for this to continue throughout the year.
Yeah, now you know, if it doesn't happen again, be like, Charles, last week was here. Where was it this week, right?
Right. You gotta focus up. Gotta keep doing it.
Talk about your path to Tiffin University.
Well, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I went to West High School. We weren't really good ever, really, but I stuck with it. Stayed down, stayed with the hard work, and just earned a scholarship. Coach Goff here talked to my family, and we made a visit up to Tiffin, and then I chose it. I seemed like it was the right place to be, family-oriented, so I just went with it and never regretted it.
You had a pretty successful high school basketball career as well as a football player as well.
Yes,
basketball was something you thought about playing here at Tiffin University. You kind of put that in the back burner nowadays, right?
It was something that I thought about, but you just got to focus on one thing. When you focus on one thing, if you want to make it in that one thing, you just got to do it.
Well, it's hard enough just to be a college student, let alone be a student athlete and try to do more than one sport on top of it. And yeah, Coach, well, you probably went and saw this young man, and his size was one of the things I'm sure first caught your attention, but he's got to be more than just size.
Well, he was a very talented receiver and basketball player. To be honest, at the time we watched him on the court and we're like, he's a better basketball player. He can run, he can jump. But in all fairness, where he played, they didn't throw the ball a lot. They did some variation of different things. But, we knew that we had a chance to, get him here, help continue to develop him, and thought he could be a very dominant receiver. But, we like those tall basketball players that got good hands and got
absolutely
some quickness to them. And, ever since we got in Charles, we've been looking for that next basketball player that'll fit into our system, really.
Right. You like those kind of players, Coach Horn? It's all about having the best athletes on the field, and hopefully those best athletes can still catch the football and actually be a good football player.
Well, definitely, and Charles fits our system really, really well, and having his ability out there, and really what we have out there across the board is just tremendous. Coming from where I came from, where we run the ball a little bit more than we throw at the ball, and then come to this place, it's just been a tremendous blessing for me as a receivers coach. It's been a lot of fun and being out there throwing the ball.
I think all we had to do to get Joe was just show him a roster of receivers, and he's like, "Well, I'm here."
Right. There's a really good one over there with the big brace on his knee. We won't see until next year as well. Charles, the wide receiver core may be as deep of a core that you have on this team. You got a lot of really good athletes in that wide receiving core.
Got a lot of good talent.
Brings out the best in you, right?
A lot of good size, a lot of good talent. It might be one of the best for sure. I'm just excited, ready to go. Excited.
You're ready for Walsh this Saturday?
Yeah.
Well, part of being a good wide receiver is having a balanced offense. Talk a little bit about the running backs on your offense as well and what they bring to the table, which maybe allows you some things to open up for you to be able to succeed the way you have.
They came in doing it big since week one, since camp. They came in, was focused, ready to go, and they've been producing just like everybody else has, and they're down, they're ready to go just like we are. So that opens up the pass well, and I'm just thankful, grateful.
Yeah, and having a big boy offensive lineman up there to do the job as well. Your line did Ashland's always has some really good pass rushers on that team. Your offensive line did a real nice job on Saturday.
They might have been one of the best defensive line we've faced thus far, and you're still talking about the Grand Valleys, the Wayne States. They're really talented, and they did a great job handling them up front for us and giving Pipkin a chance to throw the ball downfield to this man.
Coach Horn, when you had that chance to start working with Charles here, I'm sure you probably watched some film on the receiving core to get used to him. Was there something you saw in him that thought, if I can get him to maybe twerk this a little bit, work this thing a little bit harder, the sky's the limit for that young man?
Well, really, the biggest thing that I've been tremendously blessed with Charles is when all I have to do is talk to him about something, and immediately he goes right into trying to learn it, and you can see him doing what we're teaching and converting it onto the field. I mean, he's still got a long way to go to get to where he wants to be, and I wouldn't say there's any one particular thing, but the great thing is with him is everything you give him, he goes right into working on it, and he puts a lot of effort and a lot of thought into it.
Now, you guys don't mind us calling him Mega Dragon, do you?
No, not at all.
You love
it. Yeah, I like it.
Well, we put the highlights out on social media, and I saw somebody responded to it. It was like Mega Dragon. It's a new nickname, but it's our fun little nickname we gave Charles. But if you didn't
that just makes my job a little bit harder to keep him grounded, but that's okay.
It's just little old me, Charles. It's just little old me. But hey, we love watching you guys play football for Tiffin University, and I'm sure you had as much fun on Saturday as you've had wearing the green and the Vegas gold in the TU uniform. As much fun last Saturday as you probably had at any point playing for Tiffin.
Yeah, it was one of the funnest games ever. The energy was crazy. We just got to keep it up, rolling into next week and the next week and the next week, 1 week at a time.
Coach Horn, give us a little bit of a brief preview on what Walsh does defensively as we get ready to face them on Saturday.
Well, we're really looking forward for this game this week to kind of build on our momentum. But, their secondary, it's a little bit different than what we saw this past week. They're a little bit more physical, try to be a little more hands-on than try and just run with you. And we've been talking about that a lot this week. They'll come up and get right in your face and play man. And we got to win those one-on-one battles if we're going to have success this weekend.
Absolutely. Charles, you're up for the task this Saturday?
Most definitely. They like to run a lot of press, so we should have a lot of fun.
Well, I've seen you come up to the tell me if I'm wrong. It wasn't this past game, a couple games ago, where you came up to the line of scrimmage. I swear you were telling the corner, come up here and take me, man. Come up here and bump and run me.
I try to be funny on the field sometimes not, but yeah.
Is that character stuff okay, Coach? Sometimes enough is enough. You can have a little bit of fun, but not too much.
All receivers and DBs are squirrels. They all got something to say, I promise.
Absolutely. No, you can give a receiver 20 catches a game, he's still going to think he doesn't have the ball enough, isn't he? All right, Charles, talk a little bit about your quarterback. You and Antonio have had a few years of work together here, and you guys seem to have built a pretty nice chemistry. Mm-hmm. We talked about your wide receiving group and the young man you work with there. Great group of kids, but you got to have a good quarterback to get you the football. It seems like you guys have been working all together for 3 years now.
We got a good relationship. We actually live together, so it's kind of nice. But, just
smart man.
Right, yeah.
Ever since I got here, though, Pip's just been telling me what to do and just how to do it. And he's been a great leader to me, for real. So it's a blessing to me. I appreciate him for everything he's done. We just going to keep the thing rolling.
What's your plans after graduation, after you're done with wearing the green and gold?
Of course, the dream is to go to the NFL. Yes. I'm just going to do whatever I got to do, stay humble, stay blessed and just keep focusing and keep working on everything I got to do. But if that doesn't work out, I'm in school to be a communications major, of course.
And
so I want to take that into television and broadcasting.
Well, you can come work. You can come work sidelines for us.
Guys,
you come work with us anytime you want. You can come work with us when the season's over. We'll get you we'll get you started a little bit. That's a great aspiration. A lot of people, athletes would love to get into what we do and stuff. And so to me, what it is, it's a love of the game. It's a way to still be, you can go coach. You can do anybody can coach.
You can stay around it, yeah.
But broadcasting is a really cool way to stay a part of the game. And to me, it's just because you love the game. And you can see that on the young man himself.
Right. No, without a doubt.
All right, Coach. Anything else for these two gentlemen here? As we're just about out of time. Or time's flying this week.
Yeah, sure.
But I'll tell you what. Last week was just a blast. And Walsh this Saturday is another tough conference opponent. We have not had a ton of success going up there in the past. They played us more than any other conference opponent in their history. And I think they have like an 8-3 record against us. But every Saturday's a new Saturday. Every season's a new season, and should be a lot of fun this Saturday as we go up there on for a noon kickoff. We heard about the defense from Coach Horn. Why don't you give us a brief look at what they do on the offensive side?
Offensively a little bit scary as well. They run a lot of different things. I mean, you look out there and they might be in spread offense. Next snap they might be in the wing tee. You just don't know. And that's obviously their plan going into the season is to give opponents a lot of different looks. And so we've had to prepare for a little bit of everything all week. We understand that there might be a trick play from the opening kickoff to the last play of the game. So. We got to be aware of those things, and if something like that happens, we got to just get over it and play the next play. But they are a handful. They really are on both sides of the ball, and they got some really good players, and for whatever reason, they hadn't quite put it together yet, but they're very capable of doing that. So we cannot take them lightly. We cannot sleepwalk through this game, that's for sure.
Well, inexperienced quarterbacks, but they have a lot of experience of wide receiving core and running backs. Like I said, those are names that we've said over the last few years here for our games against Walsh. Seemed like you came out of the Ashland game pretty healthy. Not really, no real major injuries on Saturday.
We did. For such an injury-filled season, yes, we came out of that game very healthy.
It's good to see that luck maybe taking a turn, right?
I hope so.
Let's hope so. Well, his name is Garrett Goff. His name is Charles Holland. And his name is Joe Horn, our three guests here on the show today. Charles and Joe, thank you guys so much for coming over and chatting with us. Keep working this young man hard. He's got a bright future. And you keep working the rest of the wide receivers. I'll tell you what, man, it's as talented a group as we have, man, and it's a lot of fun watching you guys play. And when you go recruit kids like this, you just walk in the door and say air raid, and they usually say, what? Yeah, I'll come play with that.
Well, my joke with Coach Gilbert, recruiting receivers, we always go into their home and say, hey, we got two running plays. We're going to run on the field, or we're going to run off. But now we got some very talented running backs, so we got a three-headed monster in the backfield, so we can't say that anymore because we actually run the ball and run it very effectively.
Well, yeah, at least then the defensive back's got to be looking in the backfield a little bit instead of just manning up and IU, right? So, absolutely. Mega Dragon, Coach Horn, Coach Goff, thank you guys so much. This Saturday, 12 noon kickoff. You can catch all the action at Coast Country 100.9 WMJK, as well as at WTUD, TUDragonRadio.com. We'll be back out here next week at BW3s on Thursday night at 6:30 to give you a recap of the Walsh game and get you ready for the following week as we are officially past the halfway point come Saturday afternoon when that game gets finished. It's crazy. It goes by faster and faster every year, just like our show went by super fast night. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night, and we'll do it again next week.
Thanks for having us.
Saturday.
All right, my name is Russell Snyder, voice of the Dragons. This has been the Gary Goff Show right here on your home of the Dragons, WTUD, TUDragonRadio.com.